Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Blackwell with the Education Network, here to talk with a couple of experts on the subject of bullying prevention. October is National Bullying Prevention Month, but this is really an issue that concerns students, parents, and educators 12 months a year. And bullying, a high priority for the Safe Schools Department inside our school district. The Safe Schools team, they do an amazing job creating a safe and supportive climate inside the 180 Palm Beach County Public Schools. They put an emphasis on providing behavioral and emotional supports for students and families to ensure success for our kids. We're so honored to have two team members from the Safe Schools program to talk about that work. And joining us is Dr. Diomedis Ramos-Cruse, the Bullying and Title IX Coordinator, Safe Schools, and also Valmorria Ambroise, the Program Planner, Teen Mental Health and First Aid, also with Safe Schools. Welcome to you both. So good to have you guys.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here today.
You know, bullying, we talk about it so much in the media. We talk about it at the dinner table. Let's just get right down to it, though. What is bullying? Has it changed a lot over the years? What would you describe as bullying in 2022?
Well, in short, because there is a much longer definition, bullying, we look at more of a criteria for behavior of students, right? We use what we call the RIP criteria, that's RIP. The R represents repetitive, so it's something that happens, a behavior that takes place more than once against an alleged victim, or perhaps it has the potential to happen again. An imbalance of power, that's the I in the RIP component. Imbalance of power can be created by academic achievement, that can be created by physical characteristics. Perhaps one student perceives to be more popular than the other individual. That creates an imbalance of power. The P is purposeful action. So is it being done with intent? Is it being done on purpose? All of these combined will create a bullying incident.
So tell us about the different types of bullying. And I know the internet plays a big role in that now.
The internet absolutely plays a role in that. But when we look at bullying within our schools, we think about perhaps verbal bullying. What does that look like? That can look like name calling, teasing, taunting, calling somebody, an inappropriate name, or even making inappropriate sexual comments. Perhaps that looks like physical bullying. They're putting their hands on another individual, pushing, kicking, scratching. All of those physical characteristics result in physical bullying. Or even social bullying, leaving one of their classmates out of a game. Perhaps that's motivating other students to not want to play with them, not want to allow them to integrate into that social circle. Those elements all create social bullying environment.
So many different things you didn't think about.
There are a lot of different criteria that we look at.
Under that header of bullying, it's
absolutely.
just crazy. Bullying is heartbreaking for parents, for teachers. Are there warning signs if you see one of your students or one of your kids maybe experiencing bullying?
Absolutely, and some of those warning signs may look like a change in eating habits, a change in their social groups. It may look like a decline in grades, or even how they show up physically. That may start to look different as well. So you really want to pay attention to those signs that show up, or even those symptoms that many of us are learning in our youth mental health training.
So if you see those signs, do you address it right away as a teacher and as a parent?
See something, say something.
All right.
Absolutely.
That's going to be a theme. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later on. Let's talk about filing a report. So how can you officially see something, say something through a report? Is it a police report? Is it a school report? What's the first step there?
Well, we always say, pursue a trusted adult on your campus, whether that be a teacher, administrator, guidance counselor, or even your parents. But we'd like to address it as soon as possible. There are other ways that you can report it. We've got a bullying hotline. We also have the reportbullying.palmbeachschools.org. The students can report it through their student portal. There are even anonymous drop-off boxes within our campus. So there are many ways for students to report bullying.
So there's a wide range of answers that you can provide. Let's talk about the report. Can you be anonymous if you are making a bullying report? What is in that bullying report?
You can absolutely remain anonymous, but I think what's important to put inside of that report is, who was involved? When did it happen? Where did it happen? Has it happened before? How long has it been happening? All of those questions that can allow the administrators or whomever is going to look into this bullying report to have a start so that they really can get to the bottom of the bullying report.
It's probably good for parents to have conversations with their kids or teachers to have conversations with their students so they really know what specifically happened to make that report as factual as possible. Would that be correct?
Absolutely, and I think I'll go back to what Dr. Ramos-Cruse said as well. When you're making that report, really think about the acronym RIP. Was it repetitive? Was there an imbalance of power? And was it purposeful?
Yeah. So often as a parent, your child, there's so much love and so much nurturing and caring there. And, are they being bullied, or is there just teasing, or is there a difference between the two? How do you sometimes separate the conflict of when you should jump in or when you shouldn't jump in? And has that changed over the years?
Well, it hasn't changed over the years. I think the ability for students to report it in so many different ways is really come more to our attention. However, in terms of bullying versus a conflict, oftentimes students are best friends one day, they want to hang out with each other every single day. The next thing you know, they have a falling out, they have a conflict, and then they want to say they're being bullied. Or perhaps they do state they're being bullied. But with a conflict, they're mutually combatants in the conflict. There's not an imbalance of power. Many times they're remorseful. They're looking for problem solving. They're not looking to victimize the individual. Where there's a victim involved, where the individual is targeting another student, where there's that imbalance of power, going back to that acronym RIP. Is it repetitive? Is there an imbalance of power? Is it being done with intent? Then we're looking at a qualifying bullying incident.
So how can you talk to parents to try to help them maybe with the separation of those terms, just a conflict as opposed to a bullying situation?
So for instance, you want to really dig down and get the whole full scope of the story. As Valmorria stated, with the questions that you would answer with submitting a bullying report, those are the same questions to ask. When did this happen? How did it happen? Who was there? Has it happened in the past? Really dig in to find out exactly what happened within that situation, and then determine whether or not both students were able to really respond in kind to the inappropriate conversations that were taking place. Perhaps they were antagonizing one another. Did the child feel victimized? Did they feel that they were not able to defend themselves? Did they feel that their power was stripped? That's when we may that balance may shift towards bullying.
How do we get our kids to report bullying? Because sometimes I feel like they're worried they're going to get bullied more if they say something. So what do we tell our kids about that?
I think things like this, educating our students on what bullying looks like, educating them on how to properly disclose this information and or report it. I think letting them know that it's okay and stepping out of the negative connotations that, oh, you're a snitch, or the labels that sometimes our students like to use. Again, you see something, you say something.
What I love about so many of our kids now, they're really thinking about bullying. They're thinking about being kind and acting nice to their fellow students. Are you seeing that on campuses? Are you guys encouraging that over at Safe Schools to make sure that we're creating that climate?
Absolutely. We have a wonderful PBS team, and that really sets the culture within our schools. We have a lot of bullying awareness campaigns that we do. Just this month is, National Bullying Month. We've got Unity Day. We've got Kindness Day, where Pink Shirt Day, where we've got even pink fairies that have shown up to school. And we do a lot of education. We've got bullying lesson plans. We've got amazing guidance counselors that really dive into these character traits and how to be kind and how to recognize when somebody isn't being kind.
All right, so many great resources out there. And speaking of great resources, there is a bullying hotline. The phone number is 561-434-8200. There's also a bullying report website, so make sure you check that out as well. And another great resource are the Safe School Ambassadors on our campuses. Talk about this program.
Absolutely. So our Safe School Ambassadors program has been around for a while. We actually are revamping it, enhancing it to put it at more schools on more campuses. And this is the first program in our district that is done by students. A lot of our programs are done for students, but this one actually is, we want to hear our students' voice. We make them ambassadors on their campus, meaning they walk around, they report what they see, because a lot of times students see what we can't. So they're reporting what they see they're reporting what is going on, and they're creating programs around that to combat that and to make everyone feel included. So it's all about inclusiveness.
I love when the students get involved. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Tell us about the effects of bullying. Do we know what happens to a child that has been bullied?
Absolutely. Bullying has very high detrimental effects, negative detrimental effects in our youth. Could lead to depression and anxiety. It's a very big risk factor in our students' mental health. Decreased grades, poor attendance, poor hygiene even. It really affects the way that they show up for their social environment. They don't want to go to school. That may also be a factor, or it is one of the pathways to violence even. So this is why it's important for us to get a hold of bullying, to address it, to be proactive and preventative, and to continue doing what we can to make sure it doesn't happen on our campuses.
And you talked about education before. Just how important is it we know all the different aspects about bullying so that we can be better educated and really tackle this problem?
I think it's important to know all of those so that you can really be best equipped when handling the situation. So I don't think that bullying is something that just our students should learn, our teachers should learn, and our parents, staff, whomever, so that we know how to have the proper conversations around bullying. And I think it's important to understand that students can play multiple roles in bullying situations. Sometimes they are the bullied, or sometimes they are the one bullying. So what does that look like? How do you educate yourself to know? And how do we promote more of our students being upstanders?
Can I just touch on that real quick? Because so many times it's kind of like a movie cliche. The older brother picks on the younger brother, and then the younger brother becomes the bully. Do you think that's the case? The more bullying maybe a child receives, that they become more of a bully?
Absolutely, and that's what I stated in terms of what are the adverse effects. Students that are bullied, youth that are bullied, can in turn wind up doing the bullying themselves, or perhaps that even leads to additional violence. And this is why we're being so proactive.
You guys are doing a great job over at Safe Schools. And also a part of this as well is there is a pledge out there. And I was just wondering if you could share that with us.
Absolutely, thank you. I pledged to support others who have been hurt or harmed, treat others with kindness, be more accepting of people's differences, and help include those who are left out.
Love that pledge. That is so cool, and hopefully I know a lot of our students are giving that pledge on a daily basis at our schools. Safe Schools, we hear about so many of the amazing things that you guys do on a daily basis. Talk about your role inside the Palm Beach County School District.
So we are led under the fearless leadership of Diane Wyatt. And Safe School encompasses so much. We are over the attendance initiative, really trying to get our students back in school or make sure they're attending school all the time. We have our McKinney-Vento program where we focus on our families that are in need of homes and shelter. We have, as Dr. Ramos-Cruse stated earlier, we have our Palm Beach positive behavior support team and champs that focuses on creating those positive climates on campus. We have my initiative, the Teen Mental Health First Aid Initiative, where we're really pushing into 10th grade classrooms and starting to talk about the signs and symptoms. And, it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to be stuck. And what does that look like, and how can you get your friend or someone that you know to the proper resource? We have Student Code of Conduct, threat assessment, bullying, Title IX, you name it, we do it.
You guys do so much important work. It's got to be really satisfying from a personal level to know that you guys are making a difference in our communities.
It absolutely is. It's very gratifying because on a daily basis, we provide a lot of support for our teachers, our students specifically, our administrative staff, and it's very rewarding on a daily basis when you're met with such a positive output.
Love it. And final comments from you guys. What should parents think about bullying, about their kids, how they can stop it, where we are with bullying in 2022?
Well, there's a lot of access to technology, so cyberbullying is one of the things that we need to keep our eye on. We've got online gaming platforms, we've got social media, we've got different messaging. So it comes from a safety standpoint, but also from a bullying standpoint, to be more observant, more vigilant, really provide that higher level of supervision, and also how to report if there's an instance of bullying even over technology.
And be open to communication. Really listen to what your kid has to say. Be okay with what they may share, and never judge. Just listen. Listen to what they are saying.
All right, I've enjoyed listening to you guys. Thank you so much for all the information. And just a reminder again, the bullying hotline is 561-434-8200. The Bullying Report website is palmbeachschools.org/bully. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the work that you guys are doing at Safe Schools. And also, it's really inspiring to see what our students are doing in Palm Beach County as well. They really are taking the lead in making a difference on a daily basis.
They are.
We thank you so much for watching. And again, thanks for being a part of this discussion.